Welcome back to the SMSF Property Pathway. I'm your host, Jason McCall, the SMSF Property Guide. Thanks for tuning in to episode number 3. Let me guess, you're a busy professional. You have poured decades into your career, grinding out 60-hour clinic weeks, or you have a demanding FIFO swing to build massive superannuation balance. You are smart, you are successful, and you are tired of being a passenger your own financial journey. Then you spot it, an interstate investment property online. The photos are glossy, the yield looks right, and you think, I can do this myself. I'll set up a self-managed super fund, buy that property, and cut out all the execution fees from all the professionals. Stop right there, because that exact thought process is the first step on a path to financial suicide. Today, I'm sharing the story of a high-income professional who tried to buy an SMSF property on the weekend. He came dangerously close to watching his entire retirement fund get wiped out by sudden and hidden structural disasters and an ATO compliance nightmare he never saw coming. In this episode, I'm going to show you the exact script he followed to disaster. More importantly, I'm going to give you the engineered professional script he should have used instead. Stick with me, because the difference between these two scripts is the difference between a multi-million-dollar tax-free retirement and a catastrophic ATO penalties. Let's call him Dr. Evans, a brilliant surgeon at the very top of his field. His life is a testament to precision and hard work. He had over $500,000 trapped in a pooled industry super fund and watching corporate fund fees slowly eat away at his balance, making it feel like a slow bleed. He started researching SMSF property. He learned he could take control, set up an SMSF, and use a limited recourse borrowing arrangement, or LRBA, to buy a high-value physical property. The tax environment blew his mind. 15% on tax, 15% on rental income, 10% on capital gains, and 0 tax once he hits the preservation age at 60. The mathematical idea was bulletproof. The problem was the execution. Dr. Evans was completely time poor. He didn't have time to fly from Melbourne to Sydney or Adelaide or New South Wales every weekend to look at real estate. But the internet made it look so easy. He found a neat-looking 3-bedroom house in Brisbane. The pictures were perfect. He thought, why would I pay a specialist strategist when I can sort this out from my home study? This was his fatal mistake. He was treating a highly regulated financial strategy with the same casual approach as booking a holiday online. Here is Dr. Evans' script, the exact path that led to the execution wall. See if any of this sounds familiar. Act 1, the DIY setup. He paid for a cheap online SMSF admin service to set up his SMSF and corporate trustee. He ticked their boxes and the proof that he was a director. What he didn't realise was the sheer weight of the superannuation industry supervision, or the SIS Act, he had just placed on his own shoulders. Act 2, the sight unseen purchase. He used a standard retail mortgage broker to get an LRBA. With pre-approval in hand, he made an offer on the Brisbane house, relying on a cheap $500 building inspector recommended by the selling agent. The report came back mostly clean. He signed the contract. He didn't just buy a house. He bought a collection of curated photographs, completely blind of what was lurking behind the fresh paint. Act 3, the unravelling. Settlement went through. For 2 months, everything seemed fine. Then came a heavy Brisbane storm, and water poured through the master bedroom ceiling. The tenant complained of a damp, mouldy smell that had been there since day one. A specialist consultant was sent in, and the ugly truth came out. The roof was shot, just patched up for a quick sale. The timber beams were rotting. Worse, the bathroom had been illegally renovated without council permits, leading to years of subfloor water damage. The repair bill to make the property safe was $80,000. Act 4, the ATO nightmare. Dr. Evans thought, okay, I have a loan. I'll just borrow more to fix it. His standard broker then delivered the devastating news. Under the strict rules of an LRBA, you absolutely cannot use borrowed monies to improve a property. Replacing an entire roof structure and fixing an illegal bathroom renovation is classified by the ATO as an improvement, not a repair. That $80,000 could not come from a loan. It had to come directly out of the liquid cash reserves sitting inside his SMSF. Paying that bill would completely cannibalise his funds cash buffer, leaving it unable to pay the annual audit, ATO levies, or loan repayments. If he used borrowed funds anyway, he'd breach the single acquirable asset rules, risking the ATO declaring his fund non-compliant and taxing his assets at a catastrophic 45%. He was paralysed. This is the brink of financial ruin. Now, let's rewind and flip the script. Let's give Dr. Evans a second chance and put him on the professional SMSF Property Pathway. The script for success isn't about doing it all yourself on the weekends. It's about building a unified SMSF execution team. Okay, let's get back. Act 1, the financial strategy. The right script doesn't begin with scrolling real estate. It begins with a legal strategy. I'm an SMSF property strategist. I'm not licensed to give personal financial advice. That is exactly why our professional pathway starts by handing you over to our elite network of AFSL licensed financial advisors. Before you ever look at a property, they map out the exact super trajectory. They provide the legally required statement of advice, or SOA, establish your corporate trustee and bear trust perfectly, and verify your exact capital baselines. We ensure your financial foundation is legally bulletproof before we ever take a step into the market. Act 2, boots on the ground execution. Now armed with the legal mandate from your advisory team, we step in as your physical execution partner. And here is the big difference. We are not standard buyer's agents who sit in an air-conditioned office buying sight unseen. We act as your boots on the ground. We fly in a state. We go where we are needed and where the property data tells us. Before I became an SMSF property strategist, I spent 12 years in the insurance industry, specialising as a claims manager and an insurance property assessor. I spent over a decade assessing claims for collapsed roofs, water damage, and foundational cracks for Australia's biggest insurance company. I know exactly where hidden property damage lurks behind the fresh paint. We deploy our proprietary 155-point SMSF property stress test on every single asset that we look at. We go way beyond the surface. We hunt for unapproved renovations, illegal wiring, and structural stress that would instantly trigger an ATO compliance breach under the LRBA. We ruthlessly assess flood zones and council overlays that you cannot see on a virtual tour. We ensure the asset is an institutional A-grade property designed for low maintenance, high yield residential tenancy. This stress test would have instantly red flagged Dr. Evans's Brisbane property. The illegal renovation and the rotting roof would have been caught on day one of our initial inspections. We would have rejected the property before a contract was ever drafted. This is the execution you pay for. It's not a cost. It's the ultimate legal shield for your retirement capital. If you're watching this and want the exact tool that separates the pros from the amateurs, comment stress test below. Team will send you out the full PDF checklist. My team will send you out the full PDF checklist of our 155-point property stress test for free. Use it to hold any agent accountable. Go on, comment stress test right now below. Okay. Dr. Evans' story is about a deeper anxiety haunting hardworking Australians. According to the latest 2026 figures from the Association of Superannuation Funds of Australia, or ASFA, to live a comfortable retirement, a couple now needs an income of over $77,000 per year, and a single person needs over $54,000 a year. A retail super balance of $500,000 sounds like a lot, until you realize it has to last you 30 years. While inflation destroys its purchasing power, you cannot save your way to wealth in cash. This is where our accelerated preservation strategy becomes your ultimate antidote. When executed correctly, an SMSF gives you the use of leverage. You use 250,000 plus in cash baseline to safely control a $600,000 A. As inflation rises, your property value and rental yields rise, while your debt is eroded by cheaper dollars. Your massive employer contributions and tenant yields aggressively smash down your debt. When you hit your age of 60, the preservation age, you unlock 0% tax on rental income and 0% capital gains tax. You are the CEO of your own retirement. You choose which script that you want to follow. You can choose the DIY path of compliance nightmares, or you can choose the professional SMSF property execution team. If you have a minimum of 250,000 in your super, if you have a minimum of 250,000 in your super fund and want to know if this strategy is mathematically viable for you, it's time to stop guessing. Click the link in the description to take our 60-second SMSF property readiness assessment. It will instantly validate your capital baseline and tell you exactly what your next steps are to safely extract your funds. Subscribe, give us a 5 stars, and share this episode with a colleague who is still stuck in their retail super fund system. Next time, we'll be doing a deep dive into the 5 fatal SMSF property mistakes and how to avoid the ATO. I'm Jason McCall, the SMSF property guy. Your pathway to a property powered retirement starts right here. Thank you for watching.